when you're faced with an obstacle, it doesn't mean you're failing. It's just part of the joys of being a business owner and that little bit of the stress that comes with it, and that just keep pushing forward.
Welcome to the High Voltage Business Builders, a show where we interview entrepreneurs growing and scaling their income through e-commerce and showing you the path to make your first or next million. Like, internet marketing world had Skype as like the thing to do once upon a time, and now it's all Zoom. So if you see anybody in the world today who gives you a Skype link, it's like a scammer from India who's trying to take me for all my money.
That's good to know.
That's not really, yeah, that's how I feel about it. Like slumming when you go, I'm going slumming on Skype to see what's happening in the world today. We're not really here to talk about Skype today. We're here to talk about you. So I appreciate you jumping on the call. And so I always want to start this question with anybody who's a client of Voltage in full transparency. Have you been forced, coerced, or incentivized, or any other way made to feel like you had to come to today's call to share with us, or are you here of your own free will?
I'm here on my own free will. No issues there.
Okay, well, that's good to hear. Checks in the mail. All right, so for everybody who's paying attention, I have a good guy here, another brother from a mother in Missouri. So I'm honored to have him on the call today to talk a little bit about what he's been doing since we met more than a year ago. In conversation, I believe we met through a mutual group, the Wealth Without Wall Street group. Is that correct? I'm taking us back again, way back.
Yeah, it was through the Daniel FC podcast, and I reached out to you guys the day after I heard it, and then you actually got me in touch with Daniel through the Wealth Without Wall Street app, and we kind of were in contact from there.
Yeah. Cool. So what was life like then before we got in connection? What was life like before we had our first chats?
Oh, just waking up and just putting another check mark on the box to retirement, and just constantly looking for something on the background to do something that where I could buy back my time and give it back to my family, and just to have something that where I could work for myself versus checking in and out of a 40-hour-a-week job that I'm not super passionate about.
So why e-com then? Why'd you end up choosing? I don't know if I ever heard the answer to this question before. Why e-com? Why not like real estate investing or Airbnbs or flipping properties or other things? Why e-com? Why'd you choose
So all those things are avenues that I'm extremely interested in, that I was going to pursue. It's just when I heard Daniel talk about what he was doing, it just kind of clicked for me. This was the first piece of the puzzle that I wanted to do. And I've been looking for other avenues that just never worked out. You have all these gurus that could promise you the world that deliver very little. And after hearing this podcast, talking to you, it was just one of those things that it made sense. And like, I was ready to jump in both feet and just hit the ground running with it.
So what has been your experience so far, in your own words? How do you feel about that decision now on the other side of it?
Oh, it's a journey that I was extremely happy to take on. And I'm glad I listened to my gut and kind of pushed out some of the negative noise surrounding it. And yeah, it's been awesome working with you guys. I've learned more about the ability to create something, and that will have a long-term effect, versus trying to go through business schools, trying to go through the different avenues. You guys really took the knowledge that I was craving, that I was looking for, that schools couldn't teach you, that you just had to learn from your guys' experience. And it was awesome. It took not the shortcut, because there's a lot of work in there, but it's just having your guys' wealth of knowledge is definitely something that you cannot replace and have on your own.
So let's dig into that, if we might, just a little bit about you particularly. What kind of person are you, John, in terms of like life and business? Are you extremely adept in business? Are you like, what's a little of your background, just to give people some context as to who you are? You can go share what you'd like, or don't share what you'd like.
Yeah, absolutely. So I feel like I've always had the entrepreneurial spirit. That's something that I've always wanted to do and work for myself. And when me and my wife first got married and first found out we were pregnant, I heard a quote that says, our children spell love Time. And that always stuck with me. And it kind of jump-started my path of trying to find a way that I could buy back my time and give it back to my family and to my children. And so I was always looking for a way to what business I could do. And like I said, I was checking out the real estate options, and that's going to be down the road in the investment strategy side of things. But when I first got out of the military, I was kind of in that limbo of where I fit in and what I can do. And I was pursuing things that I was passionate about, but it was just not a very good job market. So I ended up, with the advice of my wife, switching to a business degrees. And because she said she knew I was passionate about wanting to create my own business, wanting to pursue that realm. So she's like, why not just get the educational background?
Yeah.
So I went all the way up through a master's in business. And so the background of running a business makes a lot of sense to me. It's just, for whatever reason, getting taught business from somebody that makes not as much money as I would like to make in my life is, that felt like they could only teach me how to make that much money. And there was really
Yeah.
no
Yeah. A
yeah,
ceiling.
ceiling to it. Yes, exactly. And then so I always wanted a little bit more, and just to provide for my family just a little bit more. And so like I said, when I heard that podcast with you guys, it clicked for me. It's just like one of those things. It's like, these guys can
Yeah.
help take me where I want to go and give me the avenue and the tools that I can't learn in college, that I didn't learn in school.
Do you feel like you dedicated enough time to it? Do you feel like you maybe had the wrong time expectations coming into it and it's changed since you've been a part of it now, working it? Or is it about what you sort of expected?
Oh,
Tell us about some of
so
that.
the timing of coming into it was a little bit more of a stressful part of our life, because my wife was finishing up school and law school, and we just had a lot of things on our plate at the time, where it's just one of those things that I just knew I needed to jump into. And it was going to be no easy time to take on an extra stressor in our life and put it on the plate. But in the beginning, it was an incredible amount of time, just because you're going through this entire learning curve. You're doing things that
Yep.
you don't know how to do before. And then I would say that the time that I've spent in the beginning has drastically decreased as I've gotten a little bit more proficient in understanding of what I'm doing and the why behind it. And so, yeah, I would say it's decreased from the initial investment of time that I put in the beginning.
Do you feel like that's going to continue, or do you feel like you're going to have to spend more time working the business as you grow? Or do you feel like you're going to stay about where you are?
Well,
What's your thoughts
no,
on
I
that?
would definitely foresee it increasing as my business increases, and the amount of products that I put into market, and the research and the groundwork that it takes. I mean, I would hope that it increases a little bit, just because I don't want to just settle where I'm at now. I want to continue to grow my brand, and grow my
Yep.
business, and use that to pursue other avenues as well.
So some of the thoughts and dreams you've had getting involved and starting down this, and like you said, you jumped in a little bit with your gut to get going. Are you see a path forward now to the things that you envisioned before? Is it becoming a reality? Do you feel like you're on that path still, or is
Absolutely.
it still kind of hanging out there and you're still
Absolutely.
figuring out where to
Me
go?
and my wife actually have had this conversation not too long ago, where it's almost incredible to where I was at a year ago before I met you to where I'm at now. And it's just the ability to look at different things, and the idea of creating money and creating a business used to feel so far out of reach. Now it's like, oh, we can do this. Like this, it gave you a lot more of the confidence and the ability to look at obstacles differently, versus like other people who
Yeah.
have these wants and dreams of to pursue something. It's like, kind of, they're held back by that fear, I would say, versus facing that fear in the beginning, like I had to do, and jump in and just realize that, like, it is absolutely doable. And I think with your guys' coaching and your ability to walk with you and stand with you in this journey, it's, like I said, it's something I wouldn't trade for the world.
Be amazing to see. What are your goals for the next 12 months in your business? And maybe give us a little bit of insights into where you are right now in terms of
Yeah,
business.
absolutely. So one of the first major milestones I hit was when I was first entering into the market. I had to drop the price down on my product a little bit to buy up the real estate on Amazon to buy my place. And then what I thought was a really good month ended up, was just kind of the start. And now I'm virtually doubling where I was at when I thought I was doing really good at a much higher price. And so right now the goal is to get, obviously, more products released to market, to where I can have a lot more of a diverse revenue stream coming in. So I have some more inventory of a new product that's going to be here any day, hopefully into the fulfillment center. And then I have multiple products that have been researched, that have been developed, that I'm just waiting to implement and put into market, of just trying to do a much more controlled growth versus growing too
Yeah.
fast to where I can't keep up with the capital and everything like that.
So this has come with challenges too, right? So it's not all, roses and fairy tales and, as I like to say, unicorn poops and all that good stuff. it is come with its challenges, hasn't it? I mean, keep the whole thing in big picture here so people don't just feel like, well, this is all just, you pontificating the greatness of this all. It has its challenges. It is a business,
Oh,
right? And it comes with
absolutely.
problem
And
solving.
there's on the days and the months where I'm out selling, outperforming before the days that I still feel like I have the most challenges because you're still battling that mental side of it. And like I told you I don't remember, a couple months ago that when I first started releasing the products to market, I didn't think I was really in the right mental space for it. I was expecting these results and I didn't get them, and I felt like I was failing. And so for me, the hardest parts for this journey has definitely been overcoming the mental side of it. But yeah, there's definitely challenges of paying for advertising, paying coming up for the capital, how to grow my business. And you can watch Shark Tank now, and I have a much greater appreciation for some of these individuals going on to where
Yeah.
the sharks are always asking like, oh, why can't you, like, what happened to your sales? It's like, oh, I'm not able to keep up. And it's just a lot of these different little bumps that you come through on the journey that you just learn to overcome. And I think with each little hiccup, you just learn that it's an obstacle. It's just like problem solving mode and how to get in and out of it. But
Yeah.
yeah, definitely not all sunshine and rainbows or unicorn poops, like you say. It's definitely something that you have to go into with
Yeah.
the intent that you're putting a lot on the line, that this is something that you should take seriously. You're not just coming in here and you and Neil or you and Reed are not just promising the world and gurus like other people will do. It's just like, oh, it's so easy, just come in there. You guys are very upfront and forward with like, hey, this is a business. Like we're going to teach you it, but also at the same time, it's your responsibility to move forward. It's your responsibility to act, and kind of it's your business to run. Like we're not going to tell you
Yeah.
how to do it. It's like, it's your business. And then I think there's definitely a learning curve
Yep.
with that. And like I said, there's fear of the unknown. And for me, I put everything on the line to do this business. And so that the weight and the gravity was a little bit harder, especially with starting a family. Wife still was in grad school. It was a lot, but like I said, I think I've learned to control my emotions a little bit better with it and just see things as just a problem. Like it's not going to be the end of the world. It's just what can I do to overcome it? How can I learn from it? And what can we do to
Yep.
get a little bit better moving forward?
So if you were you and we were to go back in the weigh machine for a minute and talk to yourself in this position of thinking where you are now, what would you have said differently to yourself later in the past? Now that you know what you know, what would you have told yourself, 12, 14 months ago?
That it'll be okay, that just not give up, just keep pushing forward, just keep moving the ball down the road or the hill. Eventually it'll start gaining momentum, and that just things are obstacles. And it doesn't mean when you're faced with an obstacle, it doesn't mean you're failing. It's just part of the joys of being a business owner and that little bit of the stress that comes with it, and that just keep pushing forward.
Good, man. Any other parting words or thoughts as we want to wrap it up and call it a day, or is there anything else you'd like to
Oh,
say?
no, just like I told you guys in the private messages, that I am so thankful that I chose to go on this journey with you. I truly believe that you have changed my life and my children's life, and opened up the doors to what I was searching for that I just didn't know were actually possible. And it's really kind of cool. And I'm just truly grateful. And I know my family and my wife are grateful as well for you coming alongside this journey and allowing us to partake in it and to learn from you guys.
Well, on behalf of my team and the whole Voltage team, because they are very much in the trenches with you all the time, super smart folks that I get to be honored to be around. I'm also honored to be around you and just to work with you through some of the things we've talked about recently and stuff that you have to do in the future. I appreciate your faith in my business and the things we're doing, and I look forward to the next level and the next level, and get a couple of, years down the road here, and who knows, we might buy that business from you because it looks pretty good as things are moving
I
out.
hope that's the plan,
I'm
right?
excited to see where you're going.
So
That's the plan, my man.
awesome. Well, I appreciate your time.
That is the plan. Thank you so much for joining me.
Yeah, no problem.
If you like this episode, please share it with people you think will enjoy it as well. Thank you for listening, and be sure to tune in next week for a brand new episode of High Voltage Business Builders.